Wait, hold on. We gotta start that over. I'm sorry. I fucked this
You
all
sound
up.
mad robotic. Did you do something?
No, I would no. Oh yeah, I was screwing around with something in Discord so you could hear it.
Oh,
Is it
because I was
still?
gonna say you sounded kind of like
Did it come
Wait, do you hear
back?
me like a robot?
No. Do I
Oh.
sound bad now?
No, you sound okay now, but
Okay.
when you started talking, welcome to another episode, and it sounded like
Yeah, that was
I'm
my
like,
fault. I wanted you to hear the music, so I was trying to turn off the
oh,
thing real quick and I turned off the wrong one. All right. Round 2.
round 2.
Round 2, take 2. We're doing it all over again. We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
Oh my gosh. Episode
Pump it up.
54.
Raise the roof.
Woo! Welcome to the next episode of VGXL. I'm your host, Daniel, aka Games. Joining me again is the beautiful Fefer from the channel Fefer. And as usual, don't forget. Oh, well, actually, today's episode is going to be leaked sequels and delays. Oh my! But like always, follow, subscribe, and give us that 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or if you, whatever you're listening to, if it has a rating, give us the good rating, please, so we can get noticed a tiny bit more and help us grow a little bit, because we're trying to definitely spread the word to more people. And
you want to be who you mainly listen to.
And also make sure to follow us at VGXL Podcast or me directly at Video Games X Life on Twitter and everywhere else. Yeah, where Fefer, where can we find you again?
You can find me at Fefer Plays on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and Fefer on Twitch. Yeah.
All right. Let's get ready for the next episode. I'm so excited. I know I've been getting more and more excited to record whenever we're getting ready. It's been a lot of news going on with Summer Games Fest coming up. Sony's things coming up. We'll get into that in a moment. And there's just been a lot of stuff going on in the gaming world that it's just been exciting to come here and talk to everybody again, you know, and do what we got to do. But yeah. How you doing, Fefer?
I'm good. It's always exciting to get ready for the podcast because it's just like, ooh, what are we going to talk about today? I don't know, but we're going to just kind of ramble on about stuff. So
exactly.
I get more excited about it each time.
Likewise. Yeah, man. It's like I don't know. So much has been going on. But you know, before we get into all that, I just want to go over what you've been playing. What you've been playing this week?
This week, I honestly haven't gotten much not too much offline gaming other than kind of because I'm still playing Hollow Knight on stream, and to kind of because I'm already past 30 hours, so because I explore so much and then I'll die and I'll explore some more and I'll try to kind of like re-triangulate my decisions.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a little extra time after streaming to just kind of get to my next step so then I can follow up on the next stream. But it's been going great. I've been getting my butt whooped and then whooping them after maybe 20 times, but it's been fun. And yeah, but it's been going good. Other than that, I did play yesterday, as a matter of fact, my time at Sandrock.
Right.
I was given an early access key to show off the game on stream. I like it. It's really fun. It's very calming. It's like it's from the same people who made My Time at Portia.
That's like the sequel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just at this time, you're at Sandrock, this desert area, and then you kind of have to build the community and do your thing there, and just kind of build up your home, and learn all the things and make the community there. And I'm all for it. There's fishing in it. There's mining in it. There's all the fun things that you like to mindlessly do.
Exactly.
I'm all for it.
The things that keep you like stuck and addicted for 17 hours straight before you realize what's going on.
Exactly. Things that make you go, ooh.
Oh, man, that's like, speaking of spending 17 hours straight. So this past week, V Rising came out. And if you're not sure what V Rising is, pretty much I'm vulgar, so I was like, ooh, V Rising, what's going on there? wait a minute, V's don't wait. Anyway, so I don't know what that face was about, Fefer.
I'm not gonna say
it be rising.
I was gonna say mine does.
Hey.
Censor.
what you call it? No, but that game is like, you know what it is? It's like Valheim. So it's funny because if you remember this around this time last year, I think it was more like February ish into March. Valheim came out
Mm-hmm.
last year and like freaking took the world by storm. By it was the same thing. It was like, oh, 500,000 people are playing the game and it's breaking records. And it was like 1 million sold in a week. The following week, 2 million sold in 2 weeks. Every week, a whole million sold as word of mouth kept spreading. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is the same thing. 1 million already sold it within a week of its release. But yeah, it's like Valheim, but with V for vampires, and
Mm-hmm.
it's cool so far. I gotta say, it doesn't have the same exact sauce as Valheim. Like Valheim is, I don't know, it's a go anywhere, kind of do anything game. Like a lot of these survival games are, but
Mm-hmm.
it has the Viking scene, and you can build boats and and sail on the seas or whatever as a Viking, which I appreciate. And that one's more like, like it gives you a different kind of lighthearted fantasy to it, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
monsters and things you fight, but this feels like a Diablo game with a V Rising, that is, feels like a Diablo game with crafting and gathering and building stuff. So pretty much the premise is
Mm-hmm.
you're a vampire, you start in the middle of the woods with like nothing, and the game teaches you how to start building your castle. So you buy land and um um you start building up like energy to essentially buy plots of land, where pretty much you have a blood tomb thing, or I forget what it's called, but it's like a blood orb, which is the heart of your castle, right? That's like, and from there you start taking over the land around that, and it spreads out from there. So I guess the premise of the game is, I guess, to build out your land, and as well as, and then build a castle on top of that. And so then you start, then that's where it starts showing you the ropes of how to chop down trees, fight like, wildlife, like, like wolves and things like that. But what's different about this one is that now you have way more things to fight. There's like humans to fight other
Mm-hmm.
monsters. And so you have that issue of monsters, regular wildlife trying to kill you, and humans trying to kill you. And
Oof.
what's cool is that as a vampire, you can drink their blood, the blood of like all of them, except for like things like golems and like the more fantastical things, and undead probably. But you are a vampire, so there's vampire strength. There's no like you can't get encumbered or anything, so you can carry like
I like that.
big stacks of items in your pockets. So that's cool. The other thing that's interesting and different is that you nighttime is good. In most games, in the survival games,
Mm-hmm.
nighttime is bad because but since you're a vampire, nighttime is good, and that's where you do most of the things. The biggest part of the day is of your 24-hour schedule is nighttime, and then during the day, if you run in the sun, you start burning up. The game makes it pretty easy for you to
Mm-hmm.
to just run in the shade. So you can just run in the shade, and you're perfectly fine. You can keep chopping and killing and doing whatever as long as you're in the shade. And then there's items eventually that will stop the sun from burning you, as quickly and things like that. So far so good. If it's $20, if you're looking for another survival game that feels like Diablo with crafting, definitely a good find. It's in early access, so it's gonna be changing like crazy, which is cool. I can't wait to see like what other. It feels like a very complete game so far. But and then and it's multiplayer, and you can fight with friends. You can rent a dedicated server. They already have that prep. Like they already link you to a website to rent the server if you want to just have your friends there and things like that. So again, fun game. I don't think it's gonna make it to the Valheim levels. Valheim is, see, in this game, I was telling other people, there's invisible walls. There's a lot more invisible walls where you only have set paths to run on. See,
Mm-hmm.
Valheim is using the Minecraft trick where it's low polygonal graphics but stylized, and that's what Valheim is. PS1 graphics, but with modern lighting and things like that. So it's very has its style, and I think being able to go anywhere with minimal invisible walls besides monsters and water, this which you can still go into with a boat. This game is like you really just can't run through bushes. You can't run through everything you want. It's
Mm-hmm.
not an open world. It's a it's an open map, but with paths that lead to open areas, and then you run through a path, and then there's an open
Mm.
area like that. So it's not really open world. It's a big world, but I wouldn't call it open. It's not Minecraft levels of open. It's not, you know, Valheim, you know, levels of open. And that's my problem. That's the only problem. That's the biggest problem I have with it. Other than that, it's cool, but I think that's what part of what gives Valheim its sauce, its style, you know, the music, you know, it's like that very calming music, you know, it's like, you know, like I feel like the building's a little bit better. This is very automated, you know what I mean? This is more of a like I said, it's a Diablo game with crafting elements, whereas I feel like Valheim is strictly, you know, that's a survival crafting and hunting game, you know what I mean? And
I know, watching you on stream playing it I don't know, watching somebody play Valheim, I felt a little more like, "Ooh, I want to play that because I want to see it." With watching you stream it, I don't know, I didn't get that full on feel. Even though what I did find cool was that you got the power, you were able to turn into like a wolf or
yeah,
something.
there's shape shifting in that game.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm still a little on the fence about it. Even though you said Diablo, Valheim, and I'm like, "Ooh, I like both." But it's still, I don't know,
I
I'm
think
still
if you
on the
got your
fence on it.
hands on it, you have to get your hands on it. I think once you play
Yeah.
it, fight some monsters, and start getting into the gameplay loop, trust me, you'll enjoy it. There's no reason
I'm
why you wouldn't
sure.
enjoy it. You will
I'm
enjoy
very
it.
easily appeased.
It's just, yeah. It might be the thought of the time dump that it is. You know, it's such a those games take a lot of your
All of
time.
them.
So
They
it's like,
do.
yeah, that part's a little bit rough, but I still recommend it if you're looking for something new, and if you did like games like Valheim or whatever with that. But the good thing is, I forgot to mention this. This is the last really big good thing, is that every server is your own dedicated server, whether it's alone or, you know, or with other people. You can play on giant servers with like 40 other people, and you know, you can raid each other. That's the thing. You build out your castle so that if people try to raid you, you know what I mean, that you can try to stop them from doing that, which is kind of cool. You can be on PvP servers and you can be on PvE servers, which is really cool. But the coolest thing is that, like I said, even in your own game, that is technically offline or solo, you can tweak the hell out of the options. I'm talking about, you can make it where the sun doesn't really hurt you, or that it's never daytime, or that, you know, yeah, you can tweak the hell. So if you don't like those things, you can tweak it. If you want it to be where you don't have to gathers as much. If you want to start with the best weaponry and not worry about those things, you can do that too. You can start like with level 100, like, you know, rated 100 gear, and just go kill everything and not worry about, you know. So if you know, that's what's really cool, that you can make a server that's strictly just building out your castle and letting, you know, not worrying about, oh, I have to get my armor built out, and I have to, no, you can just be strong, you know what I mean?
That's my kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm all for PvE. I'm not a big fan of PvP.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm
you can
not.
make it however you want. You can make it however you want, and that's really cool. I think that's a really cool thing about the game, is that you know, they have a base. You know how I guess they intended it. You know, a balance, and you can lopside the hell out of the game however you want. You know, so it's cool. It's something that I need to visit more. I like the struggle, you know, but they, you know, I want to get to the point where, okay, I've done the struggle, I can skip that. Let's start a level 100 geared, you know, server and go kill everything, you know, whatever. But yeah, and other than that, then there's still been I got addicted to Halo this past week, so I've just been grinding Halo. It's been fun. There's an event happening, so I've been grinding Halo, getting good at it again, and I've been kicking ass. I've been doing all right. I usually if I don't do well, it's because the other teams usually get kicking all of our asses. So I've been doing pretty all right. I haven't done too much ranked yet, so I can't say like, oh yeah, I'm ranked, you know, I'm this or that. So I have to get into ranked a little bit more, but just, you know, grinding out my battle pass has been fun. And then multiverses, we have, you know, that's been
yes.
that was the hot game of the you know, gameplay beta of the week, and gotta say, that game is gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I was listening to another podcast where they were discussing how Warner Brothers owns so much that they, like, it's funny you mentioned the game House Party, because they were like, they own the franchise House Party, and I think they own and Friday, and it's like, imagine having freaking, like, you know, people from, you know, the movie Friday and House Party and freaking Rush Hour, having Jackie Chan and that shit if they want. I mean, look, they have Arya Stark, so it's like,
I know
it's not
really
impossible.
cool. because they have the voice actress Maisie. I
Yeah.
forget her last name. Maisie so and so. Yeah, they like they're being super legit with it, and I think it's really cool because then they also have Matthew Lillard playing Shaggy, doing
Yup.
the voice for Shaggy. Like they have all the actual
What's his
people
name?
doing the
The
Tom and
Batman,
Jerry.
the actual Batman. I forget his name
Yeah,
now. Damn it. Hatchet mentioned it the other day. But
I know,
yeah,
I forgot.
the guy who does Batman's voice from the animated series does Batman here. Yup. Yup. This game
Mm-hmm.
is telling you they have gold up. They have something up their sleeve, and
Mm-hmm.
they care. Whatever team made this
Yes,
game wanted to make this game, and we're given
absolutely.
like the funds to say what do you need to make this the best like alternative to Smash. And it has, if they keep doing, and it's a very team based, that's like when it really comes out and it's a better balance and not so, it was a little bit glitchy, I admit, but it is, it was open, it was just a alpha or beta rather. And but the team thing, like I feel like me and you could
Yeah,
get good at that game because it's like I said, it's that you can have a support character and like a slash character, and like if I'm about to fall off, you can go make sure like with like Wonder Woman, you can lasso me back on. Like we can do
that's
double
cool.
teams. Yup, it's
That's
meant
really cool.
to be fun.
I didn't get to play much of it.
Yeah, so two
Like
v
I know
two.
I played with Tom and Jerry because obviously why wouldn't I choose Tom and Jerry? It's
Yeah,
something from the childhood. And I didn't do very well at all. But it was still fun because you see them pull out a hammer and they're just trying to beat everybody up. I saw G Money playing on there and he was doing good.
they
You
can
know,
put all of
it was
like
really
anything from
cool.
Space Jam up in this shit. You know what I mean? Like you can
Yeah.
have the entirety of like the Monstars, like you can have all that. Probably they might even get freaking Jordan, who knows, to freaking and imagine Jordan versus what was it, LeBron?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Imagine
don't
that
know.
shit fighting in the
Yeah.
game, like from Space Jam 2. Oh my
Yeah, I
god,
know
like
exactly.
the
And it's cool because then they have the different levels. So you'll be in the Batman area and then you hear the music "Da-na-na-na-na-na," while you're playing. I
exactly.
overheard it while you were playing and I'm like, that's Batman. That's cool.
Hell yeah.
That's potential there. They're coming for Super Smash.
Yeah,
Super Smash
yeah.
Bros.
And it's weird that it's not on Switch. It's the only console that it's not on. It's on everything else, but it's not on Switch. And the thing is, I think the kicker to all that is that it's fully cross play, fully cross
Oh yeah,
progression. So
that's
you can
true.
play, you can have tournaments anywhere on any devices. It doesn't freaking matter. I mean, if it comes to Switch, it's that it could potentially take over Smash. And it's like who knows? I
Mhm.
wonder why it's not on there. If it's just like they just don't want to, you know make that on there or what. But yeah, this is gonna be wild. But I think Nickelodeon. I think the Nickelodeon. Well, the Nickelodeon one. That one. My problem with that was that there's no voices, and it feels like that was more of a
Oh
cash
yeah.
grab. Yeah, that one didn't have the
Yeah.
love that this one is getting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And like they have
Like
something
kids love
special here.
SpongeBob. Let's give them SpongeBob and other stuff.
And I'm sure they'll have. It's gonna have its diehards. Exactly. I'm sure it's
Of
gonna have its
course.
diehards. But like, I'm sad that they did not use. I mean, maybe there's a chance. I don't know why I have this like faith that they'll see what Warner Brothers is doing, and maybe, the publisher will say, "Hey, why don't we like try to get more out of that license?" But
I
I
mean,
think it
I feel like that would be ideal.
right.
Like
Like
that's as a consumer, that's what you want them to do. Like, hey, what are they doing? Oh, that's cool. Let's do better. Let's do this, and maybe trying to kind of prop themselves up to compete. Just like the whole console where everybody wants one console to do better and then like compete with the other one and all that stuff. So
exactly.
I mean, it would work out for the consumers. I mean, at this point, they've already sold it, like you said, it's a cash grab. But I
Right.
mean, we can only hope for
Like I
some
said.
sort of expansion or DLC that's not paid for.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, other than that, like like I said, enjoy myself with that game. And then I streamed it a little bit on Twitch. I've been trying to get back to streaming. I'm thinking about it. I should have streamed tonight. But that's all right. And then my Steam Deck came in this past week, so I've been super excited about
Yay!
that. Like I said on Twitter, according to Idiot Ezra, I'm a decky.
A decky.
A Steam Deck stan is a decky, and And yeah, it's been great. I've been toying around with it. I have a dongle connected and had it connected up to my monitor. I put RetroArch on that. Had a bunch of emulators going. Oh man, so and did that for Fefer as well. So you enjoying your Super Mario World on there,
Oh
and
yeah,
and
I
yeah,
love it.
it's been a fun couple of days messing around with this thing. But it being a full PC is just like makes it so easy. If I want to download something, whatever, I could just go on the website, go on whatever it is that I need to download, and boom, everything just do it right from there. I don't have to do transfers or anything crazy or anything weird. It's just like using a PC. I mean, it's Linux, so there's some adjustment you have to make, like knowing how to navigate to certain folders. It's not as cut and dry as like it can be on Windows, but with a little bit of paying attention, it's not very
Mm-hmm.
hard to
It's not.
navigate.
It's not. And
Yeah,
honestly, even as is, I myself, as the one who, although I can tinker, sometimes don't really care to. Like a lot of the games that I play, mostly indie games and stuff, even if they're supported or not, they do play for me. So I don't know. I've been pretty
exactly.
happy with my Steam Deck.
No, exactly. Same here. So it is what it is. I'm a decky. I'm a decky you in your face.
Deckies. We
But
are deckies.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah. So I rambled on there. I played a few new games this week, so it's just like a lot to talk about. But yeah, definitely check out V Rising and look out for that multiverses because that stuff is gonna be fun. Even if you're not a Smash fan, I say it's free to play. When it drops, try it out. You might just like it. You might
Give it a
just
go.
like it.
It's fun to just kind of dick around in. Yeah.
Yep. Before we move on to any big news of the week, any indie news you have for us, Pfeffer?
Yeah, I do. So there is. So I'm not sure if everyone is aware of this game House Party. Apparently, I just found out it's one of the banned games on Twitch.
Oh, you and your band games. Look at
So
you.
so it's you throw this like a giant house party, you have to make decisions and stuff, and the decisions, I love my decision games if you know who I am. Um they do affect what you get done. There's nudity, there's sex and stuff like that, which is why it's banned on Twitch.
You had me at nudity.
But they are coming with an expansion this
And
fall, the
coming. Doja Cat.
Doja Cat expansion.
Oh my god.
I like Doja Cat. She's very silly. Like she's kind of wacky out there. She seems very down to earth. So it's piqued my curiosity, I have to say. But I guess if you're interested, if you know House Party, you like the game, that's something that you'll be waiting for this fall. I myself may or may not give it a try myself, but I'll update on you. I'll update that for you once if that happens.
Fine.
After that, we do have so Floppy Nights just came out on the 24th, I think. So it's a so Floppy Nights, it's like a deck building, turn-based kind of game.
Oh.
It's kind of cool. You play with cards and you're just kind of fighting stuff. And in the actual artwork, it's a little floppy disk. So I thought that was really
You had
cool.
me at floppy for a second.
It's from Rose City Games. So I mean, if like I said, it just came out. They also made Garden Story, as well as the World Next Door. So if you know any of those,
I have
this is
never heard
another
of
one from
those.
them. I've heard of Garden Story actually.
Garden
So
Story?
that's one.
Was
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
a survival fall in love kind of game? Like
Garden Story. It's a
sounds
little forager kind of game.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
meant.
like another. Yeah, it's like another what's it called? Those charming RPGs, like you want to say like Stardew in a way,
Okay.
kinda. Yeah, yeah. But that's another one from them. That just came out, like I said, so you can check that out on Steam. Aside from that, Behind the Frame, it's already in Steam, but they are coming out on Switch and PlayStation on June 2nd, as well as another side story. You get a little DLC, more content coming up, another story. I'm gonna play that. I can't wait for that because I played through the main story. It was super sweet. If you haven't played it, it's just very story based. Little puzzles in there. It's very sweet. I love the colors and just the chill vibes it gives you. So if you like any of that stuff, definitely check it out.
Are you gonna stream that?
I should, right? I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I will.
Didn't you stream the first one?
I did. I beat it the one night. Yeah, it was only a few hours long.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you know what? Yeah, I think I will stream that.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
be
check
on
that
the
on
lookout
the
for that.
second.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, I do have Fall Guys did like an open call. They're like, hey, we need beta testers, obviously, for what? Their new update, the crossplay and all that stuff that's coming out. So if you filled out the form that they sent out through email or wherever else they put it, I know I sent it out to a few people. You should, if you haven't already received your game key, then you should be receiving it. So check your emails out. So that's very exciting. That's very, very exciting.
I did not receive anything. Did you?
Well, I was already in the testing
I know,
program.
but did they send you an email though?
No.
Oh, just because you're just permanently in it, right?
Yeah, I was already
must be
in it
nice.
from before.
Must be nice.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Now we need to play some more Fall Guys.
I do. I know. I've fallen off of that. No pun intended. I didn't mean for that.
So a few things. Actually, I'm going to move down here on the list here a little bit. So the biggest news that came out this week, or the funniest kind of, is that TCL, the Chinese store brand, TV brand maker that be making them cheap TVs. I mean, any TV is actually half decent now. That's what I was going to say. Like, any TV is good nowadays. Like, it got to be like something cheap, and you're just missing bells and whistles at this point. So they had a presentation in like in Poland, and then like in the presentation, all of a sudden you see PS5 Pro and Xbox, and whatever Xbox Series Pro is gonna be, or whatever. And it said that Gen 9.5 and 8K streaming. So pretty much, in my opinion, what I think is that they're just making this assumption, like in the event that there's a night, whenever that's going to be, if it's ever going to be. Which I could see happening. I could totally see, and I just had a thought that I hadn't said yet. So they're saying 2023, 2024. Doubtful. Highly doubtful, because they have, Sony hasn't even fully embraced the next gen yet. Then to release another iteration, I just don't see it happening. Now, one could argue that, maybe since the PS4 was so highly adopted at the time, that maybe the adoption rate for a PS4 Pro wasn't that quick or that high because you already got a PlayStation. I'm not going to go spend another $400, for a Pro edition. Like, I'm good with this. I don't care what that does. Which it was a significant upgrade. Now, the thought I had is that, just like with the 3080, right? You couldn't find that shit last year. And this year, there's already a TI. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's already a TI, and it's like, damn, I just bought that card last year, and now if you couldn't find one, well, screw it. There's an even better one to buy. You're gonna buy the better one. So, in reality, they could totally drop a 5 Pro, but, charge it $500. Let that be like their upgraded version. You know how there's a Series X and a Series S. That really wouldn't be the worst thing for the 5 to be like the intro, like the Series S kind of thing, and the PS5 Pro could be like the higher end. Like, this is, now you're getting true 4K 60 FPS on everything. The fidelity mode will be 120 hertz. You know what I mean? And or 8K, will be 8K 120 hertz, or 60, 8K 60 or whatever. Or 30. I doubt they're doing 8K 60. 8K 30. You know what I mean? You want to see that shit in 8K? You can, and, at 30 FPS. But you still can do 4K, 120 on everything else. That might be something worth selling. You know what I'm saying? That might be something worth selling. So, And people will eat that shit up. They couldn't buy one anyway. So it's like, I'm going to go buy the $700 joint, $600 joint, or, whatever the price may be. And there you go. And that could take over the disc version. Like that one comes with the disc or whatever. And the digital 5 Pro regular will be just a digital edition. I could see that totally happening. That's a thought I didn't have.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like now it just makes sense right now, which I'm a little upset about because I was going to say, there's no fucking way. They're still selling PS4s. Why, right now it's like you could just sell the regular PS5 and not sell more expensive hardware. But because no one was able to get the PS5, and it may be a while, like by the time they get massive stock, for like millions of people still haven't bought it yet, it's like they're all buying that Pro. It's if they can keep it at $500. You keep it at $500, everyone's gonna buy that joint. Like, why not? Yeah. I'm like, shit, I'd be kind of tight and sell my shit and be like, damn, I gotta get me that joint. That's a big maybe. I think I'll be fine with whatever they can squeeze out of the regular 5. We haven't even touched the surface. That's one thought. My original thought, honestly, is that the reason I don't see it happening is because, like I said, it hasn't been widely adopted. I said this to you, Fefer, how we're watching the Video Game Historian. Shout out to them on YouTube. They just did a really great history of the Super Nintendo, right? And they talk about how when they had to release it in Japan because NEC with their PC Engine and Sega were coming after their pockets, and it was working. Like so Nintendo was losing in Japan. Like they were on the brink of losing. They were like second place for a little bit there. Like they were not in first place. So they had to come out with the 16-bit machine. But Nintendo of America was like, we selling these shits like hotcakes. We don't leave that shit over there. Like we have this 5-year-old at the time, because it came out in 83. So 83. So by 1988, 89, it's like that thing's already been out for 6 years. That's old hardware in 89. Like, the Famicom, I'm saying, the chipset came out in 83 in Japan, 85 in the United States. So they were still 2 years. We were still 2 years behind over here. So they were the salespeople were like, no, we don't need a Super Nintendo because we're still selling Nintendo's hand over fist right now. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't want the next thing when you still are selling the old thing, because every day that passes, those parts get cheaper. So by 2025, that's gonna be a where you start profiting, from the PS5, because those components now are 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like they came out in 2020. So it's like by 2024, people are finally going to get their hands on it. There's no point in getting in them releasing more expensive hardware that they're not going to make as much of a profit when you can make a much better profit on the 5 that everyone's been wanting. Now it may force them, because Xbox has been selling decently, so Microsoft might force them to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it really depends. Like I don't see them doing it yet. When they stuff too many PS5s, the base PS5s that they can sell, I just don't see it. Like maybe 2026, maybe. And the other thought that I had was that you could do that in 6 years, like 2026, rather. That'd be 4 years from now, and then the next one after that will just be a souped up version of that. You know what I mean? Like then it'll just be PlayStation. You know what I mean? And it'll just eventually become essentially a PC, in my opinion. Where it's like there's not going to be a PS6. Whatever there's a Pro, then you can just upgrade from that. And it's not call it a 6. Just call it the whatever. I feel like they can just stay in one generation. And there's a lot more I can say on that, but I'm gonna just leave it as, I think that TCL just has old information. They just went with it. They probably didn't expect it to blow up the way that it did.
Oh, of course
and
not,
they probably were just talking out their ass like, oh yeah. And I'm sure it's just an idea that maybe they have some kind of insider knowledge. I just don't think it's next year. I think that's 25, 26.
Soon,
like 25. Yeah. Like let the PS5 be out for 5 years, and then I could see like a Pro coming out. Because then that makes sense. It'll be old by then, like oldish by then.
Yeah.
Because remember, the PS4 Pro came out only 3 years after the base PS4. So we are due one next year if we're following the same timeline. I just don't. I
was
just
gonna
that.
ask you, yeah.
Yeah, I just think.
Okay,
I just
so
think that the pandemic fucked up those plans. So I'd say give it the 2 years that we're behind right now. They said by 2025 there will be no PS4 first party PS4 games being made anymore. That's 3 years away. Like, damn.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and speaking of PC, you know, now more and more games are going to be coming out. They're saying that you know, there's all these numbers about how much money they're making. They're making good. They made a lot of money on PC, and good old Marvin has mentioned how, you know, oh, people just pirate everything, and that's why. And you see, that's such a fanboy statement, because I've seen the fanboys say the same shit. Oh, you know, PC players don't get. I'm like, but Sony's making mad money off PC right now. So
Yeah, they are.
that they want
Of
to
course.
start releasing more and more of their games. That's how well they're doing. They're doing so well that they want to, you know, they're trying to put more games on there. So maybe not day and date combo release, but it's going to be definitely everything. I think it's going to, and Returnal's already being talked
Eventually.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, Returnal. I saw that Returnal's coming to PC.
Yup, and they
course.
want the rest of their stuff to come out. It's gonna be more games. You're gonna eventually get Ratchet and Clank on there. They said it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen where it's a 6 month. It's gonna start being like 6 months to a year, depending on the sales of the game. That's what I see. I see it being like
it'll just take longer or
like-
shorter
like-
depending on
yup,
how much they make. Yeah,
like a 12-month
absolutely.
rotation. Like, you know, if it sells really well in those first 6 months, I think 6 months later they'll capitalize on that and say, okay, we maxed out what we were gonna sell on PlayStation. Now we can sell on PC. Like, so if a game comes out February, right? You want that Christmas to pass because you want everyone to buy the PlayStation with those games, and then you release it a year later, in February of the next year after Christmas. Now you got all those PC sales coming in. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
It makes sense. You know, Capcom. That's how Capcom be running things. Like with Monster Hunter, they released it on the console first, and then a year later they released it on PC, and they make crazy money a second time around. So, and you can do
Death
DLC
Stranding
that way
even.
too. Yeah, Death Stranding sold like crazy. Like,
And then they got the director's cut
yup,
and everything like that.
and it
Of
made
course,
money.
it's
It's
still
been
making money.
Yep. And speaking of Death Stranding, funny you should mention. I don't know if you've already heard, but what's his name? Norman Reedus, the fetus, goes
Norman
in.
Fetus.
Yep, he goes in. He's like doing some interviewing. He goes, "Oh yeah, they talking about working with Kojima." He's like, "Yeah, we're working on the second one," and it's like. Everyone's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, does that really mean that? It means that everyone was saying that it meant that. And I was thinking like, well, all he said was the second one. But the plot thickens because as we're wondering and speculating, here comes Kojima, and you know he likes to be cryptic. And in a not so cryptic message, he's like, go to your room hugging Norman Reedus. Like, I think it's like 24 hours later. He's like hugging Norman Reedus or has his arm around him and says, "Go back to your private rooms, whatever,
Your
you know,
private room. Yes.
my friend." And I'm like,
Yes.
really,
Death Stranding confirmed.
Death Stranding confirmed. Death Stranding 2 confirmed. So
Yes.
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 I don't care. And again, I was listening to a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, that game's boring. And that's only because Kojima's making it. Blah blah blah. And he could do no wrong." I'm like, bro, I wish this. It's comments like that made me want to make my own podcast because I won't mention names. I listen to a lot of different podcasts. No point to mentioning names. Just they were just talking about how boring that game is, and I'm like, first of all. If I'm like, you obviously are not a Kojima fan because if you go back as far as 1998, Metal Gear Solid, I love the shit out of that game. You know how many people, friends, you know, before internet, just people that I knew and in the circles I was in, were all like, "Oh, that game is overrated. There's just too much talking. There's not enough fighting." And Metal Gear Solid 2, the same thing. Metal Gear Solid 3, one of the greatest games in my opinion made of all time. Well, I don't know if I heard too many people hate that game. So that might get a pass from a lot of people because Metal Gear Solid 3 is just that fucking good. But if you look at the history of every Metal Gear Solid all the way through 5, it's never been a universally held game. Never. It's just that the Kojima fans are massive fans. That's what it is.
Huge fans.
And
very vocal about it.
Kojima's weird.
Absolutely.
You know, Kojima's weird. He makes weird shit. So it's never been universally loved. The publications might be more universal, but fans, there's always the people who love Kojima and the people who are just like, eh. You know what I mean?
It's on either end of the spectrum. There's no like he's okay, but no, it's either end. I noticed that too. Like the people who love him are just like, oh my god, Kojima's making something, give it to me, or just like, I don't know what people see in that stuff.
It's like Elden Ring. It's like the people who hate who like got on the Elden Ring hype and it's like this game is hard. I don't know what everyone sees in it. The hype, blah blah blah. There's no story. I'm like, that's pretty much a Kojima game that people talk about it, they rave about it. It's the best thing ever made. He's an artist. And it's like, and then so on the podcast they're like, oh, the only reason why anybody likes it because the story, because the game itself. You need to make a good video game. You need to make a good. I'm like, I love the gameplay loop, and you as somebody who doesn't even care about never played a Kojima game. Well, that's a lie because you played Metal Gear Solid 5 and you played the shit out of Metal Gear Solid 5. But
I did play Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation. That it got to the cutscene and the disc just kept on. It was scratched up, so I was stuck there and I never got to finish it.
Oh man,
the scene that it was an event overlooking down in like a cell or something.
Oh,
and that's where it loaded in.
Making me want to play that shit, man.
I never got to play it.
Gotta put. So, I gotta put on the Steam Deck. I gotta put on the Steam Deck for you. You have to play that game.
I gotta get back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. From barely going in and playing 5 and riding around on the horse and doing some missions
and you were
going
stuck
around
on that game.
Yes. No, the gameplay was really good. It really sucked me in. I liked it. I don't feel like I really got into the story.
No, you just did a lot of the missions. Yeah,
I just liked riding around on the horse and just kind of like shooting people off with the parachutes and just kind of sending them off to mother
base.
Mother base, yes. And yeah, and then I played Death Stranding and it's just like, oh my god, mind blown. Oh my god.
Because the gameplay,
he is an artiste, not for nothing. Like he's I don't know what goes on in Kojima's mind. I don't think anybody will ever figure out, but I don't know, he's got some
yeah, like when it comes to the story, he's fucking weird, but when it comes to the gameplay, like him and his team, because not just him, his team, you know, who helps him with some of the stuff, like, you know, they put this shit together and they put it together well. And I'm sorry, like it was a great game, and mechanically they worked better. They're so talented. They worked better with the Decima engine than freaking Horizon people did. And I feel like a Metal Gear, a Death Stranding 2, if it uses the same engine and does all those new tricks that like all the, you know, like the way how good Horizon 2 looked, this is gonna be. I cannot wait. And it's like I'm excited, and it's a lot there, but. Like I said, he's never been universally loved by regular players. Either you love the games or you hate them. In my opinion, the gameplay changes he makes from game to game that he's ever done in Metal Gear itself, they've always been, you know, different enough to feel like a different game. And in Death Stranding, Metal Gear Solid 5 and Death Stranding, his 2 open world games, like he makes you want to be in those worlds. And I wanted to be. I don't know. I enjoyed Metal Gear Solid. I enjoyed feeling like a real spy, like really going to a base and having to figure it out and having to, like, you know, attack a base however I want. This is before Zelda came out, you know what I mean? Where it was like, oh, do whatever you want. He kind of did it first before Zelda did, in that respect where it's like approach a situation however you feel is the correct way, and that's what Zelda like amplified. That is, you know, approach a situation the way you want to in the open world, and he did that really really well in that game, and it ran amazingly on the PS4. That game, I think, is the only 1080p 60 game that's like, you know, that it looks like a game that came out yesterday. Like you could swear it looks like a regular PS, not a PS5 game, but like a PS4 game at its prime. Like, you know, like it had that level of quality, and I enjoyed the gameplay of Death Stranding. Like, yeah, you're delivering packages, but just that whole act of getting to the location and getting, you know, climbing the ladders and finding your way over a mountain and doing all that was addicting to me. I found it very rewarding to do that shit. Like a survival game. You know how you go in a survival game, you just have fun chopping a tree? It's like that's why survival games are so popular, because those mundane acts are addicting. They set off that dopamine and people love that shit. The gameplay loop, like I said, itself was is what kept me there. The story was like the giant icing on the cake. You know what I mean? It was like the best icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the whole cake. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It was both. Like they coincided with each other so well. You had this great gameplay loop and then a great story to just follow through with.
Absolutely. Then you have the music that he chose for the
Yup.
game. And then you also, what I thought was really cool too was with the different cameos he had in the game.
Yeah.
You know, you have the musician, which was an artist, an actual musician artist, and then you have
Yup.
the different quests for them, the stories for each of the people, and those, the stories for the different people in their different areas, they that just kind of brought everything together, and it kind of kicked you in the feel at times too for some of the stuff. And I thought it was really cool. Jeff Keighley was in there, and you're
Yeah.
like, wait, I know that guy.
Exactly.
you know,
And Conan O'Brien, that shit was
Conan
hilarious.
O'Brien, yes, yes, yeah. I forgot he was in there.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know. I thought Death Stranding 2, besides Kojima making it, was an interesting game. It was very fun, and I'll be the first one to be like, I did not like that game, and
hmm
like Metal Gear Solid 3 at first, I didn't like it. Like I didn't like it too much. It was weird and clunky, and like there was weird things about it at first that I couldn't get past. And then I played part 4 so for some reason because it was a sequel, like the future, not a prequel. And then I was like, there was a lot of things that I didn't make sense. I didn't know who they were because they showed up in Metal Gear Solid 3. And so I went back and played that and loved the shit out of it. You know what I mean? And it was just like, yeah, I've always just been a fan. I just like what Kojima does. And it's like, I'll try the game, but if it's not good, it's not good. And I'll be the first one to tell you,
Absolutely.
like, I love Kojima, man. I'll go back and play his old games, but Metal Gear, Death Stranding 2 is just garbage. Like, so we'll see
I'm
what
just
happens.
I'm just curious as to what the story is gonna be because if any of you out there have played that Stranding, I don't want to spoil it, even though the game is a few years old, even though they keep on releasing it.
Yeah.
But if you finished it, I want to know where they're going from there
Yep.
because it's a very big change at the end. So I I I can't like we can obviously speculate and say he's gonna do this or that and or it's gonna be A, B, or C, but
I mean, it could
I'm
also
just
just be a
curious now.
cameo. It could also just be a cameo. Maybe it's a girl this time,
Oh,
and it's
you know what?
Fragile who's the main character, and he's just there. Like we're recording the second one, but he's just not the main character.
That's
So
true.
that could be very possible.
That's
So
possible. I know you had mentioned that too. Like maybe they can do like a spin-off of her instead.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and show like like what her day to day, and maybe make it more action oriented, and she has her teleport thing and different powers and stuff like that.
That's
So
true.
yeah, I mean it really depends. If it's like Kojima's past stuff, he'll want to follow the same character, I feel like maybe. So if it is Sam Porter Bridges again, then I would be, I have a feeling it'd be more action oriented and less of a delivery game. Like I said, if there are deliveries, I feel like it would be like that would be the smaller part of the mission. It'd be like getting to
Mm-hmm.
the location might be like one at a time, like one big location at a time. You know what I mean? So like
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing a
Mm-hmm.
million deliveries, you're doing like maybe 10 in the whole game, and getting to each location is a bitch. You know what I mean? Where you have to
Yes.
battle the elements, climb over the mountains, go through the rivers, like figure ways out to get to your location. That would be, I don't know. That sounds like an amazing game to me, where it still keeps the
Absolutely.
idea of delivering in from the first game, but the story is played out through just a few major deliveries. Are you really like you have to deliver like a major package, or you have to drive through like mud and shit and figure a way to get your car out. You know what I mean? Like it's still a travel simulator, but in a
Yes.
right. Tell me that wouldn't be fire. I
Yes.
think right there. Go ahead, could you can if that's what it is. I just feel like that's what it would be. Like less about doing so many deliveries and being repetitive, and more about the getting to the location, because that's what the
Mm-hmm.
all the
The
games.
adventure, the
Yeah,
whole, yeah.
and do it on a
Yeah,
smaller
yeah.
scale as far as how many deliveries you make, but make the traveling way bigger. So instead of doing 10 deliveries in an hour, you take an hour to do one delivery. You know what I mean? It takes like that
Mm-hmm.
long to get to, obviously with saving and checkpoints and things like that, and still building along the way. You know what I mean? Maybe,
Exactly. I was gonna say because you still have to build up the highway and
so
everything, and
imagine building your way to that place, and
oh,
once you get there, it's all built out. You know what I mean? Like you have to build it out, and when you come back,
mm-hmm.
you know, you can just zip back. You know, if that's the way you have to do it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
make it.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like it can be in one state if it's the United States, or maybe it goes up to Canada, maybe it goes to South America, or whatever, you know, or it's
Ooh.
getting a network back up. But like I said, it's just one at a time. With keep making the delivery thing smaller. Like I just feel like that
Mm-hmm.
would make more, just based on the DLC. Like the
Mm-hmm.
DLC, like they
Mm-hmm.
added a lot more like tools to help you deliver shit, and it was a lot more action stuff that you had to do. So like like I
That's
mean
true.
there was like a cave or something you had to go into and fight bad guys and shit. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so we'll see what happens. I mean, but I'm definitely excited, looking forward to that. I
We'll
can go
see
on
it in
forever,
about 10 years,
right? Because I mean,
knowing how
wait,
long he
when did Death
takes.
Stranding come out? The end of 2019. So there's a chance. There's a chance. It could be something could be ready really soon. You know what I mean? It only took him about 3 years to get Death Stranding out. So another one in that same amount of
Really?
time. Yeah, because
It was only 3 years?
he made his announcement. Oh, I think he made his he had his departure from Konami in 2015. So let's say he probably had a lot of the ideas already, but it was like 4 years from when he was shopping around from leaving Konami and shopping around for a new place, for a new studio or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and looking at the what engine he wanted to use. It was like end of 2015, maybe early 2016 to the end of 2019, and that's when Death Stranding came out. So he did that like in
Mm-hmm.
3.5 years, you could say.
Okay.
So
Either
yeah,
way, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to
yeah.
see.
Because remember the whole PT thing happened around 2015. So it was
Mm-hmm.
2016 that he was like away from Konami and the whole debacle was over. Remember he couldn't make it to that Game Awards, that one year,
Yeah.
and it was like a big deal. So yeah. So like I said, it was about 3 solid years and the game was ready and it came out built out pretty fucking good. So
Hell yes,
we
it
could get
did.
another Death Stranding as early as next year. Like for real.
Woo-hoo.
But yeah,
Yes.
another crazy news. EA was looking to sell. I couldn't believe that shit. I was like, EA was almost gonna sell to NBC. I was like, yo, what is going on in the game industry? Like,
Mm-hmm.
shit is crazy out here. Um, what else?
They're trying
Freaking,
to get as much money as they can as all the secrets start coming out.
I know. And then Battlefield did terribly. And it's like,
All that
I think
too.
that was a major hit. Like Battlefield did not do good.
Mm-hmm.
It is like
That was a glitchy ass mess.
That's it. No, it just sucks because it's like yo, everyone was looking forward.
Yeah.
This was like their time to shine. And really, it took 3 years for this game to come out, and it was just not good. It's like, yo, what happened? It's like, you know what it is? It's like a lot of the stupid mistakes these execs were making over these last few years. It's just all catching up to them. Firing
Mm-hmm.
studios and getting rid of talent and just not getting people to stay and not managing things properly. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this is what happens. These are the what's it called, the results of my actions or whatever, the
Yeah, the
consequences.
consequences. Yeah.
So yep, but in better news with EA, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel's coming out next
Oh.
year, so that'll be cool, and it's gonna have the same guy who played Cal Restus, I forget his name, from the game. Uh, he's gonna be coming back and reprising his role as Cal.
Oh, the kid from Shameless, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the same character from the
Yeah.
first game, and it's gonna be a next gen only game. Ooh, finally.
Ooh.
I don't know why I found this funny. So I'm just like, Microsoft declines a deal with Marvel back in like 2014. I feel like, Marvel declines a deal, instantly regrets. I was like, you guys could have owned Spider-Man. And around that time, they were working with Insomniac. Because remember, Insomniac, they worked on Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One. Xbox One. So imagine that if they were right, they could have made that same deal, and Microsoft would have been on top with just Spider-Man. But They know what the fuck. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing back then. That's the problem. Like that's why when this guy calls me a bot, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Microsoft is trash. Like I'm way more of a. If I had to pick a side, I lean way more towards Sony than anything because it's a lot of the games are just better. Like
They're
that's
better
it. Their
made,
management
better
is better when it
quality.
comes to the games. That's all I give a shit about.
Hmm.
And that I want to see Microsoft succeed so that Sony can stay on their toes. But and we
Yes.
win. I want good video games. Like that's all I fucking want.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I don't give a shit if it's Microsoft or Sony. I want good video games. It's just that
Absolutely.
based on my experience, I haven't had a good experience with Microsoft in a long time. Like I mean, I played Outer Worlds. It was just okay. You know, I've been enjoying Halo lately, but I'd give up Halo in a second for my PlayStation. In a second. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go play some of that whack ass, what's that driving game? I forgot the name of it. The something All Stars. Destruction
Oh,
All Stars.
Destruction All Stars.
Yeah.
Oh no, that sounds terrible.
What else? I mean, everything else was just like little extras. I mean, nothing really crazy. Sony, I guess, you know, I'm just gonna jump to Sony's coming out June 2nd is gonna be their state of play finally. It's third
Hmm.
party. So I'm hoping that they're gonna mention Final Fantasy 16 and
Yes.
7-2, hopefully. If that's all they mention in like 15 minutes for 7-2 and 15 shit would be amazing. I doubt that.
Hell yes.
That's a
That's all they
dream.
need.
But hell yeah. I feel like
That's all
Square.
they need.
I feel like Keely would probably beg for that to be at Summer Games Fest. One of those two, like one of those two.
Hmm.
That's all. Yeah, it's really all they need. It's like we're gonna have a 30-second state of play on June 2nd. Final Fantasy 16, October 2022. End of it. Sony wins. That's it. Everyone's gonna be clamoring only on PlayStation. You know. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, we're hitting a little over an hour. Anything you wanted to that I know I've been yapping over here. Anything you want to mention while we're talking while I was talking over
No,
here?
no, 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 no.
All right.
I mean, you've kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
If you play Final Fantasy 14, you no longer the AFK timer's been disabled, so you can dance forever. That's great.
Yes.
No Man's Sky got another update for their adventuring update, and it's gonna have like space whales and shit. And I was like,
Space
ooh.
whales. Yes.
Yo, No
Love
Man's Sky
space
is
whales.
crazy with all their updates. They have one major update every year, and since the 2016 debacle, and it's just like, man, that game is wild. Um, and yeah, the Callisto Protocol, I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was a game that was shown off a couple of years ago that looked like the Dead Space creator director from that. It
Hmm.
looked just like this, but the guy had the powers thing on his back, and there was like an alien that gets like in his face. It looks like something out of Dead Space,
Yes.
and it was gonna be in the PUBG universe. And everyone's like laughing about that, like, oh, like, damn, I thought I was gonna find out the origins of the frying pan, in space or something. It's like what the
I
fuck?
love the internet.
Yeah, so that was really weird. I guess I don't know. I do not know, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait for the freaking like. There's gonna be so much news coming out. I really cannot wait for just Summer Games Fest in general. I do want to see what Xbox has up their sleeve, but if they're gonna be anything interesting for this year, since they have no games this year and no AAA games at least this year, that are gonna be worth. I mean, Forza 8, not Forza Horizon, but just Forza Motorsport is supposed to come out this year. But I'm like, damn, Forza 2 years in a row. That's really what has you float, and it's a cross-gen game. Like, come on, like Microsoft really needed this shit. It sucks um
Hmm.
that they have to push those games back. What I will say in maybe their defense is that they need a win with their biggest titles, and it cannot
Yes.
be another Halo. It cannot be another
No.
Cyberpunk. It can't be,
Hmm.
these games have to do well. They need to sell Xboxes, and it's like I only want to see them succeed because it forces Sony's hand. There would be no Sony service,
Exactly.
revamp if it wasn't for Game Pass, and Sony wouldn't be trying to make even live service games to keep up with Microsoft because that's where Microsoft's making its money. They have a major live service game. I think Sony's picking up on that. Not that I'm happy about this, but it keeps Sony being creative and or whatnot.
Absolutely.
And
Keeps them on their toes.
that's what I want. I want Sony to always be trying hard. We don't want another 2006 Sony. You don't want that. You don't want a 2013
No.
Microsoft. That's why when these Xbox get all crazy about,
Mhm.
their Xbox, it's like you guys got to remember they're consumer friendly. I'm like, no, they're not. They're only consumer friendly because they're not in first place. When they were almost in first place with the Xbox 360, look what fucking happened. They wanted to get away
Mhm.
from the idea of a console, and they, you can plug your TV, your cable box into your console. Like nobody gave a shit about that. You guys had no fucking game, and then they were closing studios
Mhm.
like crazy, making bad
Mhm.
decisions, like not working with Marvel to have Spider-Man, like disconnected, suits, running that fucking place, and like. Finally Spencer did something semi decent and changed the game up a little bit.
Mhm.
But I gotta say, like you don't want an arrogant company. You don't want your company to win too much. I just want the games to come out and be good. That's all they need to do. They don't need to be like, nothing else needs to be good about them except for the games are amazing. That's it. I don't give a fuck
Exactly.
about
Bring us some
anything else.
quality and fun. We're good.
So it's like if Sony gets a second place, that means they're gonna come out with even more heat. You know what I mean? Let Microsoft
Mhm.
win so that Sony just competes aggressively. When Sony competes aggressively, like that shit's amazing. That's why we got all those great games at the end of 2013. That's why we got
Absolutely.
the PS4. That's why we got to where we are because Sony competed aggressively.
Mhm.
That's why we get 2 free games a month because of what happened with the freaking them back getting their data breach back in 2011. Like, to make up for that, they started giving out free games with PS Plus, and it was a hit. I'm telling you, you want an aggressively competitive Sony. You don't want this arrogant piece of shit company because
Mhm.
they're still making weird mistakes. It's like
Yes, they are.
that's the only reason why I'll be happy. Like Microsoft, do your thing to keep Sony doing their thing. That's what we need. Or else, if Sony wasn't doing their
Exactly.
thing, guess what? Microsoft would still. Who knows what shithole of a video game world we'd be in right now? If Sony wasn't. We'd have Nintendo and what fucking Microsoft being on top. Like no, we.
Yeah, no.
Like I said, the fact that they released Halo the way they did is my biggest problem. It's like that's your baby, that's your diamond in the rough. That's like your thing. That's what defines your brand, and you let it be a piece of shit. Like rather like
Exactly.
incomplete, took forever to come out, didn't have all the game modes that it needed. Then you're charging for dumb shit in your multiplayer. It's like you could
Exactly.
have
You
given
ruined
back
your
to the
ace in the
community.
hole.
Exactly.
Like you
Exactly.
had that. You had it. You had a community, a long time community that's been waiting for it. All you had to do was let it come out right. And they didn't.
Exactly.
They fumbled it. They fucked
Exactly.
up.
And then a year goes by and all you did was give was it Craig a beard and a helmet. And yeah, I granted the gameplay is tight and feels nice, but that game should have been like the game.
You should have had more in it.
Like you want Game Pass, you know what I mean? Like that multiplayer should have been fire, you know what I mean? Not just a basic. Shit was so basic on day. Like
Mhm.
I thought, it's open, it's early access. Oh, okay, so that means that when the official release
Exactly.
comes out, it's gonna be nope. It's still it's the same game you had in early access. Like get the fuck out of
Yep.
here. Like I said, big
It's a
fucking
damn
mistake.
shame.
I think that was such
Mhm.
a dumbass thing to do. You guys, you should have brought in whoever you needed to bring, delay that shit till this year, whatever it took for the game to be absolutely 100% amazing.
Mhm. Exactly.
So I kind of feel like maybe they're waking up to that, and that's why they're going. What Starfield needs to be Elden Ring status. Like I want it to be like Elden Ring. What do you need? We need another 9 months for that shit. If you want it to be
Exactly. Like,
like
okay, done.
exactly like
Just do
push it
it.
back. Redfall. What about that? We need another year on that. Push it
Push
back.
back. Done.
Like we're doing all right for now. We killed it on sales these last couple of months, so people have their boxes in their house. So let's just do what we gotta do. You know, I don't
Exactly.
know. I don't know. They need a W, and I'm hoping, but only because I want more video games and I want Sony to fucking be on their toes. But
Exactly. Absolutely.
yeah, that's my TED talk.
I do have actually pulled out a something from the indie scene that I did actually want to mention because I
Oh,
remembered getting an announcement in one of the discords, and I know you're gonna be happy about this. So we haven't gotten very many updates. Well, we haven't had any updates on the one terrific party game called Party Animals. They are still aiming for later this year.
damn it.
They just released a devlog, but pretty much with 2020 and everything downsizing, they haven't been able to get the best progress on it. But from here on out, they want to put out more progress, more updates for everybody. And again, they're going to be still aiming for a little later this year.
All
But
right.
now they're going to be kind of more open about it, just kind of keep everybody updated because they haven't been updating anybody at all. I'm in the Party Animals Discord and everybody's like, "When is it coming out? When is it coming out?" It was such a good demo. It
Right.
was so great. We enjoyed the little bit that we could play on it, and we are waiting for it, and they know it, and they appreciate the support, and they're going to just be more vocal about putting out the updates for everybody. So they're working on it. They already have some, I think they said another few levels, more characters. So,
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Party Animals is really good.
yeah,
If you're not sure, that game is it's like its own. It's you play as different animals like dogs and right. Was there cats and stuff too?
dogs and cats and like a little alligator, bunny, I
Yeah,
think
so a
maybe
bunch
a
of different
koala or something. I
animals.
don't know.
You know, the controls are really good. You like you run around. It's like one of those it's like like Gang Beasts almost, but way more
Better.
like way better, way better. It's like one of those what's that called? Like physics kind of games, like
Exactly.
humans fall flat,
Thank
and
you. I couldn't remember that. Mm-hmm.
but way better control. You know what I mean? And like, and then so the games are just fun because you can punch each other while you're trying to play the game, and you can do
Yeah, you can grab a weapon and just beat
yeah, and
each
just
other
beat
to
each
a
other. Yeah,
pulp.
it's hilarious.
It's so good.
We played with the kids and we had a blast with that game. And it was only for a
Mm-hmm.
demo, and the demo, you know, is not a permanent demo, so it's like, man, like that game, they got something special. And I think they know that, and that's why it's taking so long. But man, that's a game I cannot wait. I cannot wait. We
Exactly.
need to have a community night, and
Absolutely.
make sure we play with everybody. Yep.
Yes, definitely. So I can't wait. I can't wait. I was so excited when they did post an update and they announced it and they're just like, "Thank you for the support," and like we're gonna let you guys know we're still working on it. So later this year, stay with us.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh man, that's so exciting. Oh, I
Right?
was hoping you had a release date for me. You got me hyped there for
I
a minute.
wish. I'm sorry, but no.
It's all good. Oh man, but it'll be great when we actually like
Can't wait.
play that shit. But
We
yeah,
waited this long, just a little longer.
but yeah, I think that's it. We got on an hour, little over an hour and 10 minutes, so that's great. But yeah, I had a great time talking tonight. Thank you, Fefer, for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you, James.
And again, thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube or the Spotify's video app, you know, thank you again. And that's great because now you can just throw it on Spotify, and if we say something, we're like, oh, you can just look. I'll make sure the video's there, so you gotta just look at your phone real quick, and the video should be there somewhere where you can pop up the video while listening to it, because it'll just be audio, but the video will be sitting there. You know, if you want to watch it. You know, if I say, oh, look at what I'm doing. Now you can go back and rewind what I just did. What are you doing, Fefer?
I don't know. I'm doing a visual. Now look at that video.
Exactly. Now go to your phone or wherever you're watching this at and rewind that a little bit or listening to it at. But yeah. Oh yeah, and don't forget, if you made it this far, please remember to follow, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube. And if you can rate us 5 stars, please do. Thank you so much. It'll get us that much closer to a couple more eyeballs, and I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Bye.